Ta-da! Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I feel like I should be like introducing Masterpiece Theater. Uh, here, here's what we'll do. Stand by 1 second. As I wait a minute. The phone's ringing. Yes, yes. Hello there, people. Hope you guys are doing well. It is, what day is today? Saturday? Sunday? No, it's Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, Master P's Theater. All right. Yes, right, Ryan. I like it much better. I hope everybody's doing well. It is Monday, March 11th, 2024. Man, I got to tell you, I have been on the struggle bus, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the title for tonight's episode 157, the struggle bus, and that's what we've got going on. Does the 2P still work, or is it just an ornament at this point? I'll put it to you like this, Joey. It has all of its pieces, and it has all of its electronic functions. Matter of fact, it's not even. It might be the oldest phone. There are several other phones in this general vicinity that are close to its age, maybe just a little bit newer, but right there in the same kind of vicinity, and it's very, very, very cool. All things that I used to love playing with as a young child. There was one phone that was always my Batman phone until I became Superman, which, then once I became Superman, it was like, dude, now I'm Superman. No other superhero matters. Like Superman, no one beats. Why am I on at 8 o'clock? I love people trying to keep the dream alive. I had decided this year I was not going to deal with all of the switches. I was just going to, I need to find out what time is real. I don't think this is the real time. I might be wrong. Maybe we're in the real time. And now that we are in the real time, I don't think I'm going to go back. I think I'm tired and I'm done with it. That's partially the reason I'm on the struggle bus. I've been doing a lot of different things. We have really, really, really been burning the candle at both ends. A lot of things have been going on. A lot of stuff with the family, just trying to get everything back. Grandma's still at the rehab facility. We're nearing the end of that. She's getting ready to come home and do all of that stuff. And I tell you, it's just been a long couple few days. Now that, Joe, is not something that is possible. I am either going to change all of the clocks or none of the clocks. I can't have clocks that are just a few seconds off. Every clock has to strike midnight at the exact same time. Whether it be the cuckoo clock that we're speaking of, or the car clock, or the cell phone, or the microwave, it's all got to be right there on the dot at midnight, because I cannot deal with clocks that are just a few seconds off. That is not something that is okay. So before we get started, I do want to say, please, please, please do some of these things right here. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit the bell. Those are all very important stuff. It's very important. And look, the bottom line is a lot of people don't do it. I'm not the only YouTuber that says that. All YouTubers say that. Only so many of my people like, dude, just when you come in the door, hit the like button. That's the least you could do. You know, you could become a member. You could donate a little bit of cash. It's called value for value. But if you're not into that, I'm okay. All that I really care about is you being here and getting the information. But the least you could do is hit the like button. Yeah, no, come on. No, I don't even care about that as much. What I truly care about is watching and spreading the word. Share the show with everyone you know. That's what matters. I broke 700 on my credit score over the weekend. 2 years ago, I was below 500 with a lot of bad marks. Well, Joey Simpson, I'm very happy to hear that. Congratulations. Congratulations for that. But before we get started into all the politics and everything, I do want to take just a quick moment to say a quick thing about one of our favorite viewers here, Stumblefoot. I don't know if Stumblefoot and his family are watching or not, but unfortunately, the sad news that Stumblefoot's brother passed away. We had learned some, I guess it was this morning. I don't know if it was today that he passed or last night, but I do want to say, unfortunately, that I did not. I'll say this. I'm pretty sure that I'm not 100% sure, and I didn't ask, so I'm not going to say everything. I think his first name was Tony, and that's all I'm going to say because I didn't get the permission to say more than that. But his name was Tony, and he passed away, and so they're dealing with that. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his brother. And I talked with Stumblefoot today, and he's a character. He's a real good guy. He for those of you that don't know, he lives here in Delaware County, and so we are fighting some of the same fights when we're dealing with these people, and he's intimately connected with a lot of these same people that I am, and I appreciate his fight and the passion with which he continues to go after some of these same folks that I'm talking with. And so, you know, I very fortunate to have him as a kind of a person who's along for the ride and along for the fight. And I love his the wit and the sense of humor. And while I didn't specifically know his brother in the same way, you know, I know how that is. I've got 2 siblings, and you know, they mean the world to me, and I know what kind of a horrible situation that would be. So thoughts and prayers to Stumblefoot's family, and you know, thinking about his brother that passed away. So keep them in your mind and in your heart and in your thoughts, and we will go from there. So next up, again, I do want to say, while we're on the prayer circle here, if you could continue keeping my grandmother in your thoughts and prayers. She's got just one. We have turned the corner, and we can see the finish line of getting out of the rehab facility. A week from this coming Thursday the 21st, she has a doctor's appointment in which they will x-ray her knee, x-ray both of her knees, x-ray the femur, and they will make the ruling on if she can put weight on both feet, which I fully believe that she will be able to do. And at that point, she will be free to come home. She's technically free to come home now. I mean, she could come home and she would be just fine. When she came home the first time, she was dehydrated because she hadn't been intaking a lot of fluid. And because of that, that put her in a bad way. And that's why she ended up going back to the hospital that night. She's clearly drinking more and she's healthy and getting along well, so everything's good there. But she's just, I think the monotony is getting to her a little bit. The staring at the wall, the looking at the same thing, the eating the same crap food, and not being home. I mean, this is the absolute longest period in time, number one, that her and my grandpa have ever been apart. I mean, they've never been apart this long. This is the longest time she's not been in the home. So that would tend to get with you. And she is someone that is very active, goes here, goes there, is very, very independent. And so this being kind of chained to the bed, it's kind of like she's in solitary confinement in one little room, and it's just not for her. So I cannot believe she's made it this long, honestly, and I'm very proud of the things that she's done. And we can see the finish line. So she'll be home soon, and she'll be back to doing cartwheels up and down the stairs and doing all of that. So that will be here soon. So I can't wait for that to happen. And then, is there something else along those lines I need to talk about? I think that's it. So we last left off, we were here Saturday night. We did a special episode on Saturday where we talked about the homeless situation down in Henry County. And as most of you know, we did a little bit of a teaser. We did a teaser. A beer a day will keep you hydrated. I will tell her that and see. I think she's actually up to needing something a little stronger, Alva. I think she might, being it's more like a toot a day would help keep you happy. That's something like that. I've often thought about giving them gummies or something like that to see how that would go. Or I think we're past the beer. And that's hilarious because she is the absolute definition of a teetotaler. So that's what's comical about all of that. So when we were last here, may introduce her to yes, to some mushrooms. I think she would have some fun with that. Wasn't doing cartwheels what got her here into this trouble in the first place. Quite possibly. It might have also been the intoxicated Muncie fireman who was driving down the road, and she oh man, I dropped my silly buddy right to the floor. Give me 1 second. Here, I gotta get that. I needed to play with that. Okay, good. I stopped and got silly putty for the first time the other day in a very long time, and I was very disappointed when I dug inside of it and I realized that this was all the more that came in that egg. I thought it was much bigger than this. I remember, I guess it probably was, and this is just inflation. This is like inflation amount of silly putty that came in these eggs. I thought it was a lot more than that. I mean, it just seems like very small amount. Like I need to get 2 or 3 silly putties and mix them together. Brandon, I figured either you or Joey would do it. So that's good. Josh Fisher, haven't seen you in a while, brother. Came here for a baptism. You are in the right place. My hands are bigger now. That's also, yes. Also, we'll throw this comment back up here. So, but yeah, you are right, Joe. I guess that is something that I didn't think about. So, no, when we last left here, by Silly Putty, well, there's not enough to do it, so you're in trouble. Have you had a Snickers lately? I have not had the Snickers lately, no. Maybe that's why I'm in such a bad mood. In such a foul mood. When we were here last, I told you guys when we got off the program to immediately go click on the YouTube video for the Sproles video for Sproles, the S word. And a lot of you did that, and we've got a lot of people that are sharing. I'm asking you, please, please, please continue sharing it. I do want to remind you guys, okay? I do want to remind you that, or not remind you, I guess, tell you in case you are unaware. And I'm so happy that I see that Jackie commented here, because I do want to let you guys know someone, and I don't know who, it might be someone say that is the elected sheriff of Henry County, or it might be say a particular stamp lover of Delaware County. Somebody has got upset with something that I've said or posted on Facebook, and because of that, I am in Facebook jail for the next 24 hours. I apparently have been in Facebook jail for, did I post something earlier? No, I started to, and I couldn't. So yeah, I don't know how long of time. I don't know. I don't know how long it's been, but I must have done something, and they reported me to Facebook, and I am now on a Facebook timeout. It said for 24 hours, but it normally would give you the time that you're out, and it didn't. So I am now locked up, and I don't know how long. So for the next day or so, for at least the next 2 episodes, you're going to have to really, I'm going to have Kate post to my wall, but you're really going to have to use YouTube if you want to find me. Or however, I'm surprised if Jackie Fisher's here from Facebook, it must have let us post the live. That's interesting. Well, okay, so it's good to know that it did that. So that's interesting. Need a backup for this reason. Well, so here's the thing, Bree. Yeah, I was Sproles again. We technically have a backup. Because we have Kristopher H. Bilbrey, which is where I share all of the stuff. But then on top of that, we have the political spotlight, which we can also use. And then on top of that, Kate is my backup. But I always tell people, if you want the quickest, best access to what we've got going, YouTube is the place to be. But the fact that people are saying I'm live on Facebook, that makes me happy. I don't know how that works. It will let me go live on Facebook. It just apparently won't let me post on Facebook. So that's really strange. Yes, Kate does it all. So with that being said, before we get into all of the big topics of tonight, which I'll get to that in a minute, there's not a whole bunch of big topics tonight. We're going to kind of just talk about a couple different things. I do want to show the Sproles video here for all to see, in case people didn't go there and they want to see it. So without further ado, right now tonight is the world premiere live on the live of Sproles, the S Word. So sit back and ta-da!
Perhaps one of the most interesting words in the English language today is the word Sproles. Out of all of the English words that begin with the letter S, Sproles is the only word that is referred to as the S word. It's the one magical just by its sound can describe pain, pleasure, hate, and love. Sproles, as many words in the English language, is derived from Gaelic, the word sprule, which means fragment, and usually refers to a person with a small manhood. In English, Sproles falls into many grammatical categories. As a transitive verb, for instance, John sprolled Henry County. As an intransitive verb, John Sproles. Its meaning is not always sexual. It can be an adjective such as John has had an explosive effect on this county. As a noun, I'm going to take a big Sproles, and as almost every word in a sentence, Sproles sprawled us again. As you must realize, there aren't too many words with the versatility of Sproles. As in these examples describing situations such as aggression, go Sproles yourself. Annoyance, don't pull another Sproles. Apathy, who decided it was a good idea to Sproles the bed again. Confusion, what the Sproles is going on now. Denial, I didn't Sproles it up. Despair, oh Sproles, not again. Difficulty, I just can't understand what the Sproles is happening. Displeasure, what did you manage to Sproles up this time? Identification, who the Sproles are you? Incompetence, he's a Sproles. Philosophical, to Sproles or not to Sproles. Trouble, the county is in deep Sproles now. It was also famously the title of Henry VIII's official ass wiper, the groom of the Sproles. I'm sure you can think of many more examples. With all of these multi-purpose applications, how can anyone be offended when you use the word? So, use this unique, flexible word more often in your daily speech. It will identify the quality of your character immediately. Say it loudly and proudly. Sproles.
Sproles. It would be just as funny or more if it was the Master P for the voice. That's hilarious. So there's, ladies and gentlemen, is the Sproles, the S Word video that is live on our YouTube page. You can find that there, and you can share that around with all of your Henry County friends and beyond. So please spread that out throughout the world and have fun with that. So just before we move off of that, along the same topic of Henry County, I will say since Saturday night, I have not had luck in getting a hold of Charlize. Well, we're happy to hear that. We're happy to have helped. We're happy to have made someone's evening. So I'm only hoping that Sproles has laughed just as hard and loud and is in love with it just the same. I seem to think that he probably isn't, but it is what it is, I guess. So just real quickly on the Henry County stuff, I have not heard from the Henry Township trustee Travis Lyle, I have not heard from the private citizen that I said I would reach out to. I have made efforts to get in contact with these men, and I have not heard anything back. I'm going to try to hear from them just a little bit longer. Then I'm also going to reach out to the advisory board. And so, well, there was something I was going to add about that, but I'm not going to just yet. So we're still waiting on that. Joe asked if we heard about the train accident. I think you sent me a message about the train accident, but I didn't hear any more about that. Do you have any information about that, or what that was? I didn't really hear anything other than what you messaged. And to be quite honest, I've kind of forgot what you messaged. What happened with the train accident? Do you know? I guess I don't know really what you're talking about. I mean, I knew there was some kind of a train accident. Yeah. Josh Fisher, I've got that post. There's some stuff going on, and Sproles pulled a train. That's a very good possibility. I genuinely think that the future sheriff. Oh man, I hope that's not the case, Joe. That's horrible. That is really horrible. I hope that's not what happened. If that is, definitely my thoughts and prayers go out to that person or that person's family or loved ones or those involved. That would be a horrible situation. Just absolutely horrible. To Ryan, who said that you genuinely think that future Henry County Sheriff's administrations will use the phrase, don't Sproles it up now. I will tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, without one shadow of a doubt, that there are actually current law enforcement officers in the state of Indiana, in East Central Indiana, specifically in counties that touch Henry County and beyond, that will tell their officers, don't pull a Sproles, or when they're getting ready to leave from roll call, they will say, okay, whatever you do, don't Sproles us. Or they will use various degrees of his name in communicating with their officers, or their officers will do like a boneheaded thing, and they'll say, "What are you doing? Trying to pull a Sproles?" Wisdom. WWSD, what would Sproles do? It's yeah, right. Don't do what Sproles would do. Whatever way Sproles would turn, you need to go the opposite way. I will tell you, there are definitely police agencies, both city police, town police, sheriff's deputies, and troopers who are absolutely doing things like making fun of him actively. Charlize, good question. And the best answer to that is we have an absolutely worthless state legislative branch. They will solely look after themselves and do what is in the best for themselves and other political officials. And it's just a really, really, really bad situation. I just I hate it. Going back really quick um, to Brenda. Did I get your message today? I need to click on it and double check with it. I started to text you back and say, hey, I know I didn't call you the other day. I today was kind of a crazy day, so I apologize. I did not get back. I have written down on my list of things to do to call certain people back tomorrow. So I will call you back tomorrow. I promise you I will get in contact with you because I want to talk to you about a couple things, but I did get your message. So I will reach out to you. I've heard from a couple of people in Henry County today, and I need to get back to them. I just didn't get back meaning I got their messages, but I was in the middle of doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I didn't get a chance to respond to you, but I will get you guys all called back tomorrow. And so I apologize about that. Chris Bunner says a 64-year-old man was killed around 5:49 p.m. Sunday, March 10th, after being struck by a Norfolk Southern train. The incident took place near Pennsylvania Street between 16th and 18th Streets. I hate to hear that. That's horrible. That's from the Courier Times. Alva to Charlize, yes, there is recourse, but it takes time, and it's unfortunately going to take a lot of time. But Sproles is seeing fallout from what he's doing. Now it's just going to take time to affect him, and it is affecting him. And I hate it. It's affecting him in a wrong way. It's affecting him in a way that's, instead of doing what's right and trying to step up and say, okay, I'm going to do what's right here. Instead of doing that, he internalizes it, and he lets it affect him, his health wise. So I don't like that. I don't want to affect this man's health. I don't want to affect anybody's health. I don't want them to, have crazy anxiety. I want him to either do better or realize, hey, I don't have what it takes, and I need to step down and let somebody else lead. I just don't understand I would shake that man's hand if he called a press conference tomorrow and he said, you know what? I've been in this job now for a little over a year, and I realize that I am not the person that needs to be. We have an amazing law enforcement group here, and we can be so much better. I need to step down and allow someone to do this. Then I would shake his hand. That would be the best thing that he could do. But like Eric said, pride is what it is. And so he's not going to do that. He's not going to do the best thing that he can do. And I was talking to somebody tonight about, who was going to be running against him from the Democrat side. And the thing is, we need someone to run against him on the Republican side. We need a good, decent, hard candidate that can run against him. And we need someone on the Republicans to do that. And we need someone on the Democrats to do that. And that's very important. He is the example of why we need a recall option in this state. Charlize, that's very, very true. I think that every so often I have someone in mind of being a perfect example of why recall needs to be an option. And the thing, what you'll hear from legislature is, well, we don't want this to be used in a way where just because you get a person in office and you get some people that don't like them, that we're just electing somebody and then recalling them, then electing somebody, then recalling them. You could put mechanisms in place. You could put mechanisms in place where something could happen that could trigger the need for a recall, and it would take so many people of this or that or whatever to happen. You could make sure that it wouldn't just be used as a game. It wouldn't just be used as a political tool, because that's what we would need to do. You mean like the town in Kentucky where they recall every mayor? Yeah, right. Like that town that we looked at in Kentucky. They have literally recalled every mayor that has been elected, and what they do is they recall the mayor. They put somebody in. They don't like him. They recall him. They put somebody in. They don't like him. They recall him. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. Let's see here. If you, yeah, like if you get insurance canceled, that could possibly be a reason to do that. He will baptize you if you're white. He will drown your ass if you're not. Absolutely. And again, that's a really weird thing that's going on down there. And I just want to make sure that he's not crossing boundaries with what he's doing. And knowing Sproles, he probably is. Brandon says, I've been talking to people in Henry County that didn't know what I would say the joke he is. They are telling their friends and family and will not be voting for him again. Yeah, I talked to Brandon, I guess it was over the weekend when I talked to him, and I really like what Brandon said, that without giving much away, that he had talked to someone and this person didn't know much about Sproles, and what they said was, oh, I've heard he's a pretty good guy. And that he's doing good things, doing good things. And Brandon's like, oh well, don't take it from me, but I'm hearing X, Y, and Z. And so Brandon was talking to someone, and that someone said, I heard that Sproles was a good guy. And Brandon said, that's not what I'm hearing. And Brandon gave him the information that he needed. And then he was like, but you got to do the work for yourself and look this up. And then this individual went out into the world themselves, and they talked to people, and they came back to Brandon and they said, turns out you were right. And this guy's not a good guy, and there's some definite issues here. And so that's really big. We're only talking about 9,000 people. 9,000 people who voted for Sproles. That means 40,000 people didn't. Those same 40,000 people that didn't vote for Sproles last time aren't going to vote for him next time either. They're not going to see the light and say, oh, I love what he's been doing. I'm going to vote for you. So we're cool with those 40,000 people as long as we keep them in check. Hey, this guy was an idiot back then, and he's still an idiot. We'll be good. What we need to do is we need to work at changing the minds of those 9,000 people. And that's very, very important. Pretty good guy does not equate to good elected official. Absolutely. A. Jones is considered a joke too, so still footing. Absolutely, Brandon. The people of Henry County will learn what a tool he is when their local income tax goes through the roof to pay for the insurance premiums and the deductibles on these suits. The J word. Here in Louisiana, to recall an elected official, you need a petition signed by at least 40% of the electors of that area. See, and that's how often do you recall people down there? Not very often. Those 40,000 people still know better than to vote for Sproles. We just need to get them to the polls. Well, yeah, we need to get those 40,000 people to the polls, because of those 40,000 people, 3,000 of them went to the polls because they went as either Democrats or Republicans or independents voting as Democrats in that race, at least. So, so that means, 37,000 just did not vote. And so we need to get those 37,000 people basically that said, I don't need to go. We need to get them to the polls. But on top of that, we need to really be working hard to change the mind of those people. What I want to do, and what will really be torture for Sproles, is for him to slowly start losing the support that he at one time held. Now, I'm going to tell you, that's already happening. I am hearing from folks that supported him strongly, either with financial support, sign support, or just, by word of mouth. And I'm hearing from some of his top and biggest supporters that they are no longer going to support him. And that's a good sign. That is a really, really good sign. Okay, now on to my county tax was just slightly less than the state portion. That's interesting, Chris. Brandon's cost him 20 votes just this week. Brandon, you're working miracles, brother. Keep it up. That's what you need to keep it up. I knew you had it in you. I love it. The guy's a laughing stock. It's hard to believe people will follow him. You're right, Josh Fisher. The people follow him right over a cliff, and they are. The people that are still supporting him, they're watching him take them right to that lemmings. Absolutely. Kate, if you can. Oh, crap. I didn't send you that. Can you go to the Star Press and pull the Star Press up on the page? And share the Star Press with us so we can see the Star Press. As we wait for her to do that, we're slowly but surely becoming formable. Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. Okay, so what we're going to want to see here is scroll down a little bit more. What we're looking for is an article that talks about the winners and the losers of the... No, you're going too fast. The winners and the losers in the 2024 legislative... Right there. Yep. That's good. Okay. Yep. Cancel out of that. Here's all that matters about this. Okay. This is coming from the Indianapolis Star. And all I need you to do is scroll down, scroll all the way down, keep on scrolling. Scroll. Keep on scrolling. Keep on. It's gonna get to a part where it says losers. And right, oh nope, there's city. That's toss up city of Indianapolis, toss up children, and then the losers are going to be coming up next, right here. Okay, can you make that a couple more sizes bigger? Yeah, transparency. I want you guys to listen to this now. Despite hours and hours of public testimony during committees throughout the first 2 months, January and February of the year, many bills were finalized during the last week behind closed doors. Now, listen to that again. January, the whole entire month of January, and the whole entire month of February. Okay. Now, this session, the session of this 2024 year, was slated to be over sine die, which, if you listen, is the sine die, is the without further day. That day was supposed to be Thursday the 14th. Well, today, at the time of this recording, it's Monday the 11th. Thursday the 14th is still a couple days from now. However, both the House and the Senate have went out of session nearly a week early. Now, I don't understand why they wanted to go out. I know why they wanted to go out a week early, but I don't understand why they did. If there were still issues to be worked out, their asses should have been down there working still. They didn't need to work anything out in hurried fashion behind closed doors. They shouldn't do any of that. That should be highly illegal. It's wild that it's not. All right, I want to read on. State lawmakers can use a process called conference committees. Listen to this. So right now, what happens is when a bill is pushed through the House, it goes through and it goes to committee. And if a bill passes in committee, so in the House, there are 100 House members. 100. Each committee is made up of, some committees have 10 people, some committees have 15, some committees have 12, some committees have 8. You know, I don't understand. Or, well, they all have an odd number, I think. I think they all have an odd number. So, rather, that would be 7, 11, 13, okay, whatever. 15, whatever. They go through committee, and if they vote on something, and then something then goes for second reading to the House, and the full House votes on it, and then it goes over, and all of that's in the open, and then it goes to the Senate, and it goes into committee, and then it goes to the full Senate. When it goes back for a full reading, okay, listen to this process. Yeah, listen to stop. That's all. That's the reason. They got to skip doing their job so they can campaign to get reelected, to go back and do a job that they're going to skip doing so they can get reelected to do a job that they're going to skip doing. See how that goes in a vicious circle? Listen to this. State lawmakers can use a process called conference committees. If a bill passes both chambers, the House, then the Senate, then the House, but the original author is still, for some unknown reason, unsatisfied with the final product, the conference committee has to hold at least one public meeting. Now, read this next line, but they sometimes last less than a minute. And there's often little discussion about what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, once they hold that one public conference committee, they can then go hold closed doors meetings. So what they do is they will hold these meetings that are public. They will open it. Is there anyone here to testify? Nope, no one's here to testify. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. And then they will run back behind closed doors and they will talk about these bills in rooms of 8 Republicans and 3 Democrats. Eight Republicans, 3 Democrats. The Democrat raises their hand and says, hey, I think they're like, shut up. We don't need to hear from you. We're not interested in hearing what you say. We're going to go meet in committee, in caucus. We've already met in our caucus. Vote against the bill if you like. We're going to do our thing. And then if there's a Republican that is actually free mind out there, if there is a Republican that is like willing to do the right thing and they stand up and say, hey, we don't like this, the other 6 Republicans say, go have a seat with the Democrats. We don't care about what you're saying. We're going to move your office down to the coldest part of the building. We're going to move your parking spot furthest away from the building for when it rains and when it's cold. It's gross, man. When lawmakers wrapped up Friday, conference committees resurrected language from dead bills, including some that did not pass one chamber, but not that did not pass one chamber, but not the other. That's kind of a weird line. Just a few examples of those proposals include a research fund for psychedelic mushrooms, some language about tort claims against commercial vehicle operators, and heavily criticized language about requiring Indiana Gaming Commission to go to the legislator-led state budget committees if the commission needs more money. All right? Listen to this. They're considering this guy a loser. All right? Indiana Public Access Counselor Luke Britt. Luke Britt is Indiana's longest-serving public access counselor. But lawmakers sent a proposal to Holcomb that will essentially strip one of the main parts of his job. An amendment tacked on to just a completely unconstitutional bill, JD's 1338, a bill about disruptive conduct at local government meetings, would require the public access counselor to only consider the plain text of the state's public access laws or applicable court cases. As one senator said, it wouldn't even allow him to open a dictionary to consult a dictionary. How stupid is that? Okay, go on from there if we can, Kate. Republican lawmakers said they disagreed with many of Britt's opinions, citing a case last year in which Hamilton County as an example. Democrats just decried the bill as a step backwards for public access. Britt has declined to speak publicly on pending legislation. He's always done that. That's why I think he's avoiding me. I've been trying to get in contact with him for a week now. But advocates for the government accountability say it creates a chilling effect for the role designed to help regular Hoosiers understand whether their governments are following the state laws. Right, like Brandon said, who cares if they agree with his opinion? They don't have to agree with his opinion. He's there as a checks and balance measure. He's there to help us. Joe, that's a very strong statement, and you're probably very, very close to being right. And the comedy the comedy here is it's the Republicans that are pushing for this. He supported 1338. What beautifully embarrassing irony. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ryan, you're right. Yeah, Luke and I have always had a very good relationship. We've always had a good relationship. And look, Luke isn't avoiding me because he's like, I don't want to talk. Luke is avoiding me because he's embarrassed. Luke is embarrassed. And I just don't think he knows what else to say. You can get rid of that Star Press now. Thank you, Kate. But it's those people that are causing us to be in a position where we have John Sproles and we can't do a damn thing about him. It's those people in that bill who are causing the citizens of Winchester to literally have to put up with a counselor who, prior to the election, did not attend the council meetings for over a year. We told you all, hey, she's not attending meetings. She won't be attending meetings. If you elect her, you're going to be electing her just to pay her a check for not attending meetings. Guess what? Lisa Friend has not been to a 2024 Winchester council meeting. She has not attended a council meeting yet this year. If we had state representatives that were interested in helping the citizens instead of protecting their own backsides and helping those in their friends in local government, what, Brandon? Holy crap, what? What are you saying? Since being elected again, you mean since being elected in November? Since she was reelected, she's attended one meeting. She attended the meeting in December. Then she didn't attend the meeting in January, in February. So that was December. Well, yeah, and you're right, Kate. That was during the old term. But I mean, I guess what he's saying, since she was actually elected on election day in November, then she attended in November, but then she's not attended in January. She's not attended in February. And then, did they have a meeting last week? Not one meeting in this new term. And so when the state won't help us hold them accountable, then it falls to us, the people, to do that. Now, you've got Karen Wilkins, who wants to run for office. But the Republican Party chair and the Democrat Party chair doesn't want Karen to run as a Republican. So they keep her off the ballot. So the only way that we can stop stuff is by us doing it. Us, we the people. No one is coming to save us, politically speaking. Yeah, odds are pretty good she won't attend the meeting in March. Meanwhile, in Muncie, no word on the crisis center. We still continue having this crisis center. It's still in crisis. Nothing's going on there. What's happening with Southway Plaza? You can't ask questions because no one's going to give you answers. You're a troublemaker if you ask questions. What's going on in the county government? You know, what's happening with the solar deal? What's going on? What's happening there? What's going on in the auditor's office? What is happening in the Delaware County Auditor's Office? Folks, it is a living, breathing nightmare in there. Like Brandon said, losing faith, quickly losing faith in what's happening. I think there were a couple of comments here that were pretty important. I'm sorry, I haven't checked. Luke, Brett, Sproles himself with 1338. Yes, like Sproles did today. Maybe they can all go get baptized at the jail. Yes. Again, there's people coming up talking about the baptism that happened in Henry County. Now, as a Christian, I've got nothing wrong with people getting baptized. Got no problem with the sheriff's department being involved with that. If people in the jail are asking for it and they're asking this and they're making it happen, I've got no problem with that. If people are being forced to be involved, that's not good. And you gotta say, Sproles is somebody that, because of his past, because of the way that he has done everything since he's been in office, we have to ask. We have to ask what is going on there. So he might not like it, but he's got himself in that position. Charlize says Crisis Center has a beautiful new foundation. I drove past it the other day. Yeah, I was by there probably about 3 weeks ago. My grandfather and I drove by on the way out to breakfast one morning, and I took a picture, and it was after they had broke up the old foundation, but before they had poured the new foundation. So now we're saying they have now they're saying they have you're saying they've now poured the foundation. Again, that's going to cost money that was not originally talked about. So my question is, when are they going to have went to the Board of Works for this? When are they going to go there for a change order? Needs to happen pretty soon. Yeah. That's pretty scary. Mark's girl, 32. That's pretty scary. Will Henry County's new insurance policy cover the horse tanks in case of drowning? If nobody's being forced, it shouldn't be an issue. But how would Sproles handle a Muslim? How would Sproles handle a Muslim inmate? An atheist inmate? A Jewish inmate? A Hindu, inmate? Hey, Cindy. I got on the other day and it said that you and I weren't friends on Facebook. So I sent you a friend request. I don't know. Maybe you unfriended me. You, a trans inmate. Absolutely. Well, we know how he handles people of color. We know how he handles people of color. So we know that that's not always a pretty sight. So, it just Sproles puts himself in a really, 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 yes, E-Jack, that's exactly right. He doesn't know how to handle any inmates. He's just doing it to try to be positive. Look what I did for re-election. That is absolutely right. Everyone should be afforded equal opportunity to worship. Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely. Another thing I wanted to talk about, and this is not exactly, I wonder if, oh man, I wonder if you've been hacked then and there's someone else has another account like yours. Did you just accept my friend request? I'll have to get on there and look. Man, that could have been what happened that got me in jail. We'll find out about that. Kate, I want to know if you can do me another quick favor, ma'am. There's a post on my Facebook, and it is can you pull up my Facebook and put it on here? Okay. Scroll. Oops. Okay. Keep scrolling down. This thing right here. Okay, this thing right here. Yeah, this is wild. Oh, no. Go up. Yeah, right here we are. Hold on, before you play it, X that off real quick. Or yeah, pause that there. So go to see more. Okay, I want you guys to listen to this. This says, now that we are officially moved out, I have a public service announcement for my Muncie friends who may be looking to move downtown. If you see a listing for an apartment at 223 South Walnut between Lahodes and the Herat, do not move there. Since November, we have been living in hell after an event center moved below us, who do nothing but throw parties at all hours of the day and night until 3 or 4 a.m., even on weeknights. Bass shakes the walls and floors, and there is no escape no matter where you go in the apartment, because it's the entire building. Landlord couldn't care less, even after sending videos and pleading. Her only solution was for us to leave, presumably so she wouldn't have to deal with the complaints anymore. So that's the kind of stand-up people we're dealing with. It's horrible that my neighbors still have to deal with this, even at this very moment. The thought of someone signing a lease there without knowing how loud it is makes me sad. So here's a video that encapsulates what most days and nights have been like since November. And I have endless videos just like this. Also, I saw a comment from someone associated with this business stating that the tenants were notified or knew that we were going to be living above what is basically a club. Either they are lying or my old landlord is lying, because the lease does not even state that the apartments are above a business, let alone a wannabe club. Okay? I want you guys to listen to this. So this noise and coming through on this on this feed, it wasn't nearly as loud as when I went to Facebook and looked this up. If you're friends with me on Facebook and you want to check this out for yourself, you can go down. All of my stuff is open. You can see, you don't even have to be friends with me. You can just go to Kristopher H. Bilbrey on Facebook and look this up. This was wild loud. This is definitely crazy, insane loud. I couldn't believe how loud it was in the recording. And it, like, basically when you have your phone at a real loud event where there's bass and it kind of shakes, that's kind of what goes on here. And this is really, really crazy. Okay. And so what's going on here is she's saying there's no place in this apartment that you can escape this. It's in the living room, and it's like, you know, like I've had things go on at places I've lived where there might be a neighbor having a party out in front of you, so you go to the back of the house and escape it. This is nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's loud below you. It's loud through the walls. It's loud in the living room. It's loud in the bathroom. It's loud in the kitchen. It's loud in the stairwell. And it looked like a beautiful apartment complex, had a spiral staircase and everything. Looked great. What they're doing downtown Muncie is wonderful. But I guess there's a lot of back and forth. What happened? And I'm trying to get the entire story on this, but apparently people moved into this apartment complex. And then after the people moved into the apartment complex, the owner of the building then moved an event space down below them. And this event space is having wedding parties and birthday parties and just all other events that are going all hours of the day and night until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when they're shutting it down. And that would be absolute nightmare. Could you imagine having a baby and bringing a baby home to that? You know, being a young family starting out and you get pregnant, you've got a baby and you do that. And it is like that it's basically, is it like that for every apartment, not just tenants, air ducts? So from what I'm gathering, it's not like an apartment building. It's not like this is not an apartment building where there are like 60 apartments. This is like a place where, it sounds like this is a place that has like 4 or 5 apartments that they have built into this building, and then below it is this event center. So this is horseshit. She's back to coming once a year. What are you talking about, Joey?
Lisa.
Oh, yes. Yes. I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? Sounds like they're getting Sproles. So sound coming from center below. Yeah, that's all coming from this center below. I'm going to hopefully talk with this person and find out more information, and then I'm going to try to go by there tomorrow and find out like just what's going on and see kind of like where this is, because I can't really place it in my mind. I mean, I know where 223 South Walnut is, but I can't place what that would be. So I'm gonna go by there and take a look. If you're interested in looking at the video, Kate has my uh, Facebook feed there. My Facebook account popped up on the screen below. Wonder if the Board of Works approved that that noise variance. That's the thing. I would like to know that, because they're saying that this is happening, you know, most weekends and even a lot of nights through the week. And if they're doing this till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays and Fridays, that's nuts. You know, I'm all for a small business owner getting out and making it work, but man, to do something like that is really crazy. Specifically, if you do have tenants living there, and they were living there before the center went in. Look, it's one thing. It's one thing if the event center's there and they've been there, and you get people who move in and they say, "Hey, just FYI, you know, when the center's rocking, you know, it's there's nowhere to escape." And people say, "Hey, it doesn't matter. I like loud music, whatever." Like, I'm gonna tell you. Well, no, I can't say that. I was gonna say something like that wouldn't really bother me, but it would, because imagine me living there and being in the middle of trying to record a program. You know, imagine me trying to go live, moving into this apartment, living there, and then all of a sudden, you know, 6 o'clock comes, their first people arrive, and they start having a party atmosphere until 3 o'clock in the morning. If it's the building I'm thinking of, the building's been there a very long time. It's been there a long time, and it's people who have basically moved into an old building. What about trying to go to sleep, Paula? Yeah, absolutely. There would be no going to sleep during that. There would be no going to sleep through that. That would be absolutely insane. Hey, if you can you pull up 223 South Walnut, like on map Muncie Maps or Google Maps, I guess I should say. What about trying to? That's way too loud. Yeah, it's definitely way too loud. That is crazy talk. And apparently, like, they're not getting any kind of help from the people. They're not. There's no kind of understanding. Like, it would be one thing if you're like, man, um, you know, like, what can we do? But just to be like, well, you know, if you don't like it, leave. I mean, yeah, obviously, but I'm okay. So I'm gonna break the lease, and you're gonna be okay with it. 223 South Walnut Street. Interesting. What? They should have an open invitation. Um, hmm. Okay, you can get rid of that now. If have AC or any new air conditioning ducts. I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to talk to them tomorrow. Again, she tried to message today, and we just weren't able to connect because of what I had going on. But I'm going to. I will definitely connect with her tomorrow and see kind of what the deal is. I can't help to think that there hasn't been somebody that's made some kind of complaint to the city about this, because there would definitely be noise code issue coming into play here. And the fact that they are having this something, I can't believe they would uh who owns it. Ooh, yes, hey, could you
Yes,
can you go to Beacon?
I can do the thing.
I figured you had done that. So Kate is looking up on Beacon. Join them, place requests for songs. No way, Charlize. That would make sense. Okay. Well, this will be interesting to see what goes on here then, if that's in fact the situation. Interesting. Okay. And this is that's interesting. And this was 223. Yeah, I see it now. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Well, so it'll be interesting to see what goes on. How's the building zone business? I would buy, yeah. That's what we're gonna have to see, Jackie. That would be interesting to see how the building is zoned and what goes on there. What exactly they've done in moving forward here. Have they done anything through the government? Have they come in? What have they said? What do people in the area know? I'm interested to know exactly how many other apartments are in the building.
It's zoned CI, commercial,
Industrial?
I don't know. CI is what it's zoned.
Okay, that's interesting. Yes, blast some opera. I also want to know what kind of speakers they've got going, because man, they've got that. They had that thing pumping. I know it did not sound very loud here on the show, but if you go and you actually listen to the video that the lady shared on my wall, I would kill someone. Just figuratively speaking, everyone. Figuratively speaking. They had it loud and it sounded good. It might be cool for a moment, but like I said, imagine how I knew someone who was going to lease that space, and it was Linda Kay, who is the landlord. That's probably okay. That's yeah. I don't doubt that one bit. That's And I could see her being like, well, you could be here or not be here. Are you being serious, Joe? Are you saying that you don't think it was that loud? Are you being serious? Or are you being facetious saying that? Like what? Do you really think it was loud or you don't think it was loud?
Well, he's got laughy faces after it, so I'm assuming he's being facetious.
Well, that, or he's like, what are you guys talking about, you old people? That's not loud, you old fuddy-duddy. I'll put it to you like this. It was loud enough that, and my microphones that I use like at the studio are sensitive. It would be loud enough that I couldn't sit and do a show through one of my expensive mics. Because the whole complex should join the party. Time to turn on the music. Everyone just turned. Okay. All right, good. I was hoping that's where you were. I'm just saying from my end it didn't, from my end listening to it here, from Kate playing it, it didn't seem loud. But yesterday when I listened to the lady, when I first looked at it on my phone through her thing, I was like, holy crap. I would figuratively have an issue bad with somebody, because that's insane. Almost as sensitive as JD when someone mentions his mommy. Yeah, right. It was loud and sounded really good. Sound like a really good sound system on your. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what time it was, but the lady did say, the lady whose post that was, said it's like that all of the time, and it goes that way till 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning routinely. So that is pretty crazy. And to be right downtown Muncie, that's really shocking to me. I'm surprised that other people haven't complained. Hope nobody has. That's what I said. Small children. Having a child would be insane. Oh, God. So that's what's going on. When they got permission to have these late night parties, did the sleeping sister ask, would there be alcohol? I'm sure they didn't ask anybody. Another realtor lives upstairs next door. I'll bet she's happy. Holy crap. There's an actual realtor that lives up next door. There is no way. That's horrible. That is insane. Just real quick before we end, I do want to let everybody know we do have record requests into the city of Muncie. We have record requests into Henry County. We have record requests into Delaware County. We have a couple record requests into Delaware County and a couple record requests into Henry County. We've got one request into the city of Muncie. So we've got one in Muncie, two in Henry County, 2 in Delaware County, and we've got 2. I'm still not heard back from the other city councilors, and it blows my mind. I've not heard back from Jeff Green. I don't have that book in front of me, so I don't know. I have not heard back from Basham. Let's see. Who are the people? Green, Nora, Brandon, Sarah, Dishman, Mason, at large, 79. Mac, Rowe. All right, so I've not heard back from Basham. I've not heard back from Brandon. I've not heard back from Green. I have heard from Nora. I have heard from Sarah. Oh, and I have not heard back from Dishman. I have heard from Nora. I have heard from Sarah. I have heard from Mason. I have heard from Billy Mack, and I have heard from Rowe. So Basham, Dishman, Brandon, Green. So, wow, 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. And I don't know. Oh, looky here. Rack Jones. HB 1338 is on the governor's desk for a week now. He can sign it, he can veto it, and he can leave it alone. And it'll then become law. And if you don't like Holcomb now, you really ain't going to like him soon. I don't care about Holcomb one bit. I haven't cared about Holcomb in several years. I don't particularly think about him now. I'm not going to think about him in a week from now, and I'm not going to think about him in a month from now, and I'm really not going to think about him in a year from now. And I don't particularly care what Holcomb does with that bill. He can sign it, he can keep it on his desk, he can veto it, or he can stick it up JD's ass. I really don't particularly care. I'm going to conduct my way the same way I have in every meeting I've ever went to, which is professionally and responsibly. If I have a question or a concern or an issue with how my elected government acts or how some elected government has acted, I will redress my government the way I see fit. And if or when they decide to cross some kind of a line, they can act accordingly. I'll be their huckleberry, and we'll see at the end of the day how that works. I feel like this law, in effect, is just a waste of time. Nobody has been able to be violent or crazy in a meeting. We currently have laws that stop that. If someone goes in and does something stupid, a police officer is free to act. I don't know that I've ever been to a meeting that some law enforcement officer hasn't been there. And they are always capable of acting. I've never had a problem. I've been to a couple meetings, even one meeting where went toe-to-toe with the formidable Chief Joe Winkle. And Chief Joe Winkle wanted me to stop talking, and I told him I don't think I'm going to. And he was like, "Oh well, I wish you would." And I was like, "Well, I understand that, and I respectfully decline." And we continued doing what we did, and he was cool. Everything was good. We waved, and he and I spoke on my way out. I didn't get no bracelets and everything was good. You know, I think that he realized that he didn't want a First Amendment lawsuit against him. And this law does not stop that from happening. If they violate rights because of an unconstitutional law, even if this law is valid, perfectly valid, and everything's good with it, and they violate someone's right at a meeting, then this law does not protect them. So I am more than fine with that. No, Winkle was the chief in Muncie. Winkle was chief of police in Muncie for many, many years. Some people liked him, some people disliked him. I never had a problem with Joe. I got along well with Joe. He was what he was. He is how he is.
I have some issues with his hiring practices.
Well, yeah, honestly, well, who are you talking about?
Isn't his son in jail for beating the shit out of people?
That wasn't him. He didn't hire his son.
Oh.
The chief of police that hired his son was Steve Stewart.
Oh.
And now I will tell you, he got hired because of another police officer who was friends with his daddy, pushing him, and so that was questionable. But that was Steve Stewart, a fellow Democrat with Mike Jones. A fellow Democrat, Mike Jones, Democrat, Steve Stewart, Democrat, James King, Democrat, Bradley Bookout, Democrat, Democrats all in the same vein. And earlier today, there was a picture posted showing, you know, them in the good graces of some wonderful Democrats, and Mike's like, well, no, that's not us. We're not Democrats. We left. That's what that is rats from a sinking ship. That's what that is. That's like the people who are like fighting the fight, and then they're like, no, that's not us. We're on the other side. You normally call those people cowards, people who give up right at the end. You know what I mean? They didn't see the light. They changed sides so they could infect someone else, and that's all that happened. So it's no big deal. Everybody knows that they're clearly still Democrats. Nothing's changed. The actions are all the same. It's the same nonsense, and everybody sees clearly through it. The big deal, the difference is with this, and there was another thing that Mike said that was wrong today, and that was King handily beat everybody as a Democrat or Republican. No, King didn't handily beat anybody. King ran for office. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. King ran for office for the first time in 2008 as a Democrat because he's been a lifelong Democrat. And he ran as a Democrat in 2008. When he was running in 2008, he was running for one of 3 council at-large seats, like currently up for bat right now. So what that means is the highest 3 vote getters, gets to go on and become the counselor. In the primary, there were 4 or 5 Democrats running. King was one of them. There were also 3 or 4 Republicans running. And in the primary, King just barely got out of the primary. He was just barely the third. He was the lowest vote getter that could have won. He wasn't the top of the heap. He wasn't second. He was third, and he barely just straggled on into there. So now we go on into the general election. Okay, in the general election, there were 3 Republicans and there were 3 Democrats, and the highest vote getters won out. Well, what happened? What happened back in 2008? Can anybody remember that far back? Ooh, that was the big 2008 election of Barack Obama, when Democrats came out in swarms to vote. So Democrats carried the day. So at the end of the day, out of the 6 candidates that ran, 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, James King did win. He rode Obama's coattails straight across the line. As Mike Jones said, was he first place? Nope. Was he second place? Nope. He was third place. So he just barely got over the line. Just barely. Okay? Just barely got over the line because of Obama. Thanks, Mr. Obama. So then 4 years later, in 2012, King was tired of being county council. I will always say that when he first ran for county council, he thought he was running for commissioner. He wanted to be the commissioner, but he ran for county council. So he did 4 years of county council. In 2012, he wanted to be commissioner. He had no primary challenger. So he did not have a race. There was no race. So he could have voted for himself and he would have won. In the general election that year, okay, he won. But what happened in 2012? Oh, that's right. Obama was running for re-election. So again, Democrats in the area basically were able to ride Obama's coattails on over into victory. And King did that very same thing. Well, 4 years from there was 2016. And by that point, King had fallen out of favor with pretty much everybody in the Democrat circle because they realized that he had nothing to offer. So the Democrats were going to primary him. And King did not want to lose in the primary. So King decided to pull an about face. And after all of this time, look at me, I'm a Republican. So he switched. And when he did that, and when he ran for re-election in 2016 to the commissioner's race as a Republican, that was just very short period after the whole big FBI investigation came out. And so because of the FBI investigation, it did the Democrat challenger hard. Any other given time, that Democrat challenger would have cleaned the floor with James King. It was Duke Campbell. Duke Campbell would have cleaned the floor with James. But James won pretty easy. No big deal. Okay, he won. So then in 2020, it was kind of an off year. He didn't really have an actual opponent. In the primary, he didn't have a real opponent. It was a name-only opponent that didn't run an election, just put his name in. In that general election, he faced a name-only candidate, an old drunken sheriff's deputy that didn't run, and it was what it was. He didn't win. The guy didn't win, and James easily walked in to another term as commissioner. He never faced anybody. King has never had a real election. Let me tell you when King had a real election. In 2022, King decided he was going to run for sheriff for some unknown reason. And he primaried Tony Skinner. And when he primaried Tony Skinner, he got his ass handed to him. No questions asked. He was beat badly. He was beat badly. Badly. It was embarrassing how badly he was beat. So for the first time in the commissioner's race, James King has an actual opponent in Stephen Brand. And Stephen Brand is going to beat King. I would be willing to say Brand will beat King as badly as Tony beat King. Maybe worse. Maybe worse. So I know it hurts your heart deep down inside there, Mikey, but you'll be okay. Hey, so I've even heard some say that even if you can't lick stamps for the county anymore, you can go buy your own stamps and lick them at home all day long, any day. And if you want, we'll give you this stamp for free. You'll be free to do whatever you want with it. We're going to end for tonight. Just in passing quickly, I want to say that I think you guys figure out what's going on with the 223, 227 Walnut. I'll check into that tomorrow, and we'll have more on that tomorrow. So if you're interested in that story, come back tomorrow evening at 9 p.m., and we'll have more on that then. Hopefully, we'll have some records for you guys tomorrow, so stay posted there. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your Monday. It's almost over. You guys have a great evening. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and we will see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern sharp. Have a great night. Good night to all of your friends and family out there. Our prayers, of course, go out to Stumblefoot's family, and continue saying your thoughts and prayers for my grandparents and for the family here. You guys take care. God bless. Have a good evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Oh, goodbye. They be wilding out. Yeah, Derek, I'll have more information about that tomorrow. Hit that like button on the way out, everybody.
Are you hitting the video?
Yep.
Okay.
Oops.